soon as you see it do its thing. There we go.
Oh,
Started early.
we ended early.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Dark Roast. I'm Donna Stroll here with my beautiful co-host Rose, and today we are going to be talking about email marketing. So just the basics 101 on email marketing, what it is, some actionable steps that you can take to create your own email list and grow it, and just some best practices that you can do there. All right. There you are. You're tagged up, my dear.
See if it shows up today.
Every day's an adventure.
It is. Hey, actually, it showed up. All right. So our intro was not awake, but Facebook is.
Always something. All right. So if you are watching this live, drop a live in the comments. If you're watching a replay, please drop a replay in the comments so we know what's going down. All right. So you want to start off with me, girl?
Yes, email marketing. So there's a lot of back and forth about, is email marketing dead? Is email marketing king? And it all, of course, depends on the effort you're putting into it, how good your copyright is, and how you are getting people into your network and your email list. So emails are a great way to share information and keep people who are interested in what you offer updated on new things that are coming out. It's a very simple way to alpha or beta test programs. If you already have an email list and you're wanting to do a new sort of training or a webinar or something like that, you can absolutely beta test it on your email list. It's just a great way to keep your ecosystem running.
Absolutely. And some of the benefits are that it's cost effective. It's personalized. You know, you get to talk the way you talk and be the way you be. It's easily to measure, you know, to see what kind of results you're getting, what, you know, from your open rates to your actual click-throughs and response rates. And it allows you to just stay in touch with your audience, you know, whoever they are. So even if they're not seeing you on your social media, you're still touching base with them and keeping you at the forefront of their mind.
Yeah, it's a great way to, you know, most people that do email, that are on your email list, probably enjoy reading. So it's people that are probably looking at your blog more than, say, your YouTube videos or something like that. But you can always share your YouTube video. And like we always talk about, you know, making sure everything is intertwined with each other. So it's a great place to drop your social medias or, you know, new video training, stuff like that, to drum up views on those, but also keep everyone who likes to read able to read, including dropping your blog posts in there or even just repurposing your blogs into emails for those people.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
I was going to say, growing your email list seems to be where a lot of people struggle, because when you're first starting out, it's like, do I do an email list? Do I not do an email list? I'm getting mixed information, and it's always hard to tell, right? And one of the biggest mistakes people make is either buying emails or buying leads, either from solo ad providers or whatever it may be, and then your open rates are trash, and you've got this new autoresponder that you've already set up to not be good. So super important that you have an actual dedicated professional email. A lot of the autoresponders just cracked down on if you were using a Gmail or a Yahoo. That's no longer allowed. And then do your DMARC verifications, do your, I think it's the KDIM or something like that. Like, do your verification checks to make sure that it doesn't look like a spammy email, or, you know, don't send spammy emails, obviously. But when you're growing it, make sure you're growing it correctly. So free lead gen, free download, we've talked about before. They annoy me, but they are a great way to bring people into your ecosystem, into your world, and let them know what value you offer. Of course, your free download needs to be value. That's just a, you know, picture of you and a about you kind of thing. Like, it should be relevant.
And it doesn't. And the other thing that I think that's important to know, like we discussed it earlier, when you're creating a lead gen, it doesn't have to be this great, huge thing where you're giving away everything. It's a taste. It's, something that's useful, like a daily task list or, a checklist or a quiz, something to help verify some information. It can be small. It doesn't have to be this great big thing. And I think a lot of us, especially when you first do your first ebooks, you tend to over deliver and people aren't going to read it. It's just, unfortunately, that is a fact. So you might as well sell that big one that you made.
Yeah, exactly. Or you can send them the first couple pages and then, like, if it's a 30-page book, there's your next 30 emails.
Yeah. And if you have a blog or something like that, you can have sign-up forms, or your website where people can sign up for your newsletter, that kind of thing. You can promote that as well on all of your social medias if you want to, because your email can also be a newsletter that provides like daily tips and tricks, or, it doesn't have to be daily. It can be once a week. It can be 3 times a week, whatever schedule that you want to make on it.
Yeah, especially starting out, I wouldn't recommend daily because then it does look really scammy and spammy, and then your open rates are going to drop because people are going to be like, okay, well, whatever, you email me every day, right? So you want to stay top of mind, but you don't want to be too aggressive. So first starting out every other day, or, even every 2 days is perfect, because one, it'll help you build out an extensive automation because you're not trying to cram everything in, but two, it'll help keep your audience wanting more instead of just, they look at it and they're like, oh, another email from you. It's probably the same stuff. I'm just going to delete it, which is something that I find myself doing with email lists that I'm on. So like I said, value, sign-up forms are great. Yes, quizzes, link in the bio, or not link in the bio, but like having the link on your social medias go to your free download is great. Webinars, which of course you have one coming up, Ms. Donna.
I do. It's not too late. If you guys want to actually take a look at it, it'll be at 11:30 today. We're going to be talking about niche, and the steps from sort of A to Z on how to set that up properly, how to find it, what to do, you've made that decision, and some key factors. So yeah, if you want to do that, that's right here. We'd love to see you. I will drop the link again afterwards in the comments.
Yes. And then I'm going to go for our social media. So ManyChat is a great way to, comment free, and we'll send you the free download. Someone comments free, and if that automation is set up, then ManyChat will automatically send the link for you. So there's all kinds of different ways to help get people into that ecosystem.
Yeah. And then the next thing you want to do is make sure that you're crafting effective email campaigns. So, growing your list is great. You get all those people in there, but if your emails suck, it's not going to help you much, right?
Exactly. Yes. Copyright is an area where I think a lot of people do struggle. And what's kind of annoying about email marketing is sometimes the easiest copyright, like the simplest looking copyright, is what people open. But before they even open it, you got to look at your subject line, right? Is your subject line catchy? One thing I see is people using way too many emojis in their subject lines.
That just screams spam a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree. But yeah, so make sure your subject line is relevant, but also catchy, and should be a lead in, kind of like a hook in your video for your social media. It should be a lead into what the rest of the email is about.
Absolutely. And a lot of I don't know about all of them, but I do know that for a lot of them, your subject line has to relate to your body, or it'll just get rejected. It won't even go. Like for some places, they just won't even send it out because the two don't combine. And a good way to sort of test that is when you're looking at your emails, what made you open that email? What made you stop and go, ooh, what was that? I don't know about you, but I get like tons and tons of email every day. And I don't open every single one of them. There are some that I haven't opened for a long time. I just keep them because every so often they send me something that I do stop and look at. So what's making you open those emails? Because take your cues from that. Right?
Yeah, for sure. And autoresponders, like I said, they've been cracking down a lot more because they have a reputation to protect as well of being, you know, a platform that is used by email marketers, social media marketers, stuff like that. So there are many, many things in place to help them keep reputable business. And that means, again, stopping things like that. Some of them will actually give you like a score on your subject line of if they think it's a good subject line or not. And some will give an overall score of the email as well of what they think the open rate would be based off of what you've put. So definitely use those analytics if they're available to you. I don't remember exactly which ones do that because I just do everything through Go High Level now. I think GetResponse does it for the subject line, but I don't remember if they do it for the entire email. I don't use Aweber. I don't recommend Aweber, so I don't know about them. And then what's the other one we use? System.io. I don't know that they do it either, but their statistics, their analytics are really, really good.
Yeah, and System.io is one of the ones that absolutely, if your subject does not match your body, or if it's too spammy, it'll say, no, sorry, you need to rewrite that. That's unacceptable. Which I found very useful. I'll have to look it up because I don't remember where it is at the moment. But there is actually a website that gives you lists of words that you can no longer use or that you should try to avoid, both within your email and in your subject line, to help keep you from ending up in the spam lot area. Because you really want to be able to, you want it to go through and you want people to read it and you want it to not make them feel icky when they touch it. So.
For sure. And that's beneficial because, you know, we've talked about there's bad ways to market. There's the people out there that are just doing the cash grab. So there's been a lot of crackdown on the clickbaity type stuff, which is good. Like, I think it's good.
I think it's a fantastic thing, and it applies in all areas, including your email marketing. So it's for your videos, for your regular posts, for your blogs, all of it. They've actually, because the free for all is over. Mm-hmm. You know, you now actually have to know what you're doing, and you can't just appeal to people's really base desires to want to have some money now, which is, you know, a lot of it, or, you know, I got to have it now. It's going to fix everything now. And it's like, so no, you actually have to put some more effort into it. And even your money claims, like people who are posting money claims and stuff like that, it's not against the rules, but it's becoming less and less viable as a way to hook people. I mean, people still like money, of course, but they're seeing so much of it that they're actually starting to move on from that a bit.
Yeah, it's a fine line between proving that like the system you're using works and coming across as bragging.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. And I mean, so like that's all part of your emails, but you know, designing your emails, they need to capture attention. So that's your hooks and stuff like that. Now they don't have to be super fancy. Yeah. You know, you can put images and everything in it, or you can just be entertaining. If you're a funny guy, be a funny guy. Yeah. You know, because that's what people are they're going to look forward to reading your emails because they get to have that personality and it makes them feel more one-to-one. And the other thing is mix your emails up. So you're going to have value ones where you're providing some information, ones that are just sort of telling a story. And then you're going to have ones that are more selling, or they're going to be leading them over to like a new training or something, or a new blog post or whatever. But you want to mix those up, because if it's selling every single time, then again, people are going to stop paying attention fairly quickly, because why? Like, I don't want to be sold to every time I open up your email. But if you're mixing it up, then you're going to have a much higher retention rate from the people, and you know, a lot less unsubscribes.
Yeah. And the nice thing with emails is you can promote multiple things if it's if it's still relevant to what they signed up for, right? So if you have a couple different, ways you make money online, a couple different trainings that go with that, and they signed up for wanting to know how to make money online, then that makes sense. But if they signed up for, what cooking products you recommend, and then you're also interspersing like, oh, go here to learn how to, do a blog correctly and get paid or something like that, like it's gonna get really confusing really fast. So email
Yeah.
marketing is a great way to promote multiple themes, but they've got to flow. And again, it's not every time. So,
Yeah.
like I do it where like I'll intersperse just like random stories about my day and how it relates to business. Cause I often that's just how my brain works. It connects things like, traffic jams and
But
bad
that's
business
super important.
practices.
That's the story, right? Because people love stories. We've been telling stories since the beginning of time. That's how our information is passed down through generations. So yeah, stories matter, and email's a great place to put those stories, especially as, just to keep you connected to the people that have chosen to give you their email address. And I think it's really important that as marketers, we keep in mind they gifted us their email address. They were willing to give us an opportunity to step in that front door. So don't abuse it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So best practices, that takes us right into best practices.
It does.
So segmentation and personalization, like how would that play into email marketing? I'm dropping it on you.
Personalization is great because then they know it's coming from you, or at least someone who writes well enough to sound like you. It makes them feel more connected. So if your email comes across one way and then you share your social media with them in an email, right? And they go look at your social media and they're like, I don't even think this is the same person. It's probably not going to end well for you. So again, we've talked about it before. Be authentic. It's okay to be yourself. Like you're going to attract the people who want to work with you. And if you're trying to be someone you're not, you're going to attract the kind of people you probably don't want to work with. So super important that way. Segmentation is a great way to make sure that your open rates are good. You can look at it and be like, okay, this person for whatever reason only opens, every 3 emails, which is about this kind of day spread. So let me do a second list or, a segmented list of I'm going to email these people once a week versus these people who are opening every couple of days. It keeps your email list clean. It keeps your spam rate down. It keeps your open rate up. And it's just a great way to make sure that, again, you're not over inundating somebody with information, leading them to an unsubscribe when they might not have unsubscribed. They just wanted a slower cadence.
Yeah, because I know that I get some people, I have a couple where it's every day. And it's like, yeah, no. And I just want to cancel it. But it frustrates me because at the same time, every so often they give me stuff that I actually want to pay attention to, but every day, man, it's too much. Whereas, other ones are good.
Yeah, I do want to touch real fast on the unsubscribe option because you have the ability in most autoresponders and most softwares to customize the unsubscribe. And I've seen really good ones where it's very clean and very easy. And I've seen some where it's a child having a tantrum. Legitimately, I unsubscribed and they were like, oh, sorry to see you go. You're losing out on all this money. If this was a mistake, you can email me. But otherwise, like, sucks to be you, basically. And I was like, what kind of child are you? And now this was a marketer who I'd seen throw a tantrum before. So it wasn't anything new, but I was still just like, that's an interesting route to take. So I would not
because that can really
recommend.
burn a bridge future. That can burn a future bridge.
Yes.
I also like the ones that let you limit. So you have an unsubscribe, but you go to the unsubscribe and it's like, do you just want less emails? Because we can do that for you too.
Yep.
Which I do appreciate that. And what's the other thing that I really liked with the unsubscribes? And this comes with your tracking as well, is if you haven't opened an email from them for quite a while, it allows, they send you a message and say, do you still want to be on our list? If you don't, cool, we're sad to see you go, but that's, and then they'll just automatically unsubscribe you, which, sometimes I appreciate that. It's like, oh yeah, you know what? I even forgot that. I just automatically have you shunted. So yeah, that's good. I'm done with you.
Well, it's hurting their open rate. So it makes sense to send that out, right?
Yep. And that's a way also to, that's part of the best practices, and also just making sure that you're doing the best by your email list so that you get the best open rates and, don't have any issues with your responders and all of that sort of thing.
Yeah, I really enjoy the ones that ask for feedback, because that means they are actually interested in in why people are leaving, which is good. One of the other ones I like is sometimes you end up with the same person subscribed to a few email lists, and when you hit the unsubscribe, it'll give you the option of all the ones that you're subscribed to, and be like, well, do you want to unsubscribe from all of them or just this one? That gives you the option to, like, you know what, this program I don't really follow anymore, but this one I do. I still want emails from this one. So it allows you to keep your inbox nice and clean as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I unfortunately have one person that I love her emails. Like, I love the information that she provides. I mean, it's a little heavy sometimes, but I've signed up for different things with her with different email addresses. So I get like 3 notifications every time she sends an email, because I've got it coming from 3 different email addresses, and it's like, oh man, I gotta go and clean that up.
Yeah. The other thing too is test your automations, because I've had so many instances with somebody where, like, I've purchased their product and then like 2 weeks later I get the email. It's like, hey, you still haven't purchased. And I'm like, no, I did. Like, turn off your autoresponder. Or you get it and it's like, dear first name, because it's not working right. And I'll usually email them back or hit them up on social media and be like, hey, you need to look at this email with this subject line because it's not populating right. But that's because I'm in the space. Most people, I think, would look at that and be like, oh, you can't even bother to get this right, and just unsubscribe automatically. So
Absolutely.
that's super important to test.
Yeah. And most of them allow you to do a test. So do a test and do it from a couple of different email addresses. Like, don't just do it from your Google. If you've got like a couple of different ones from different platforms, do it from a couple of different platforms so that you can really truly test it out. And then you can read through it, make sure your links are working, make sure your spaces look right, all of that sort of stuff. It doesn't really matter what you're doing, test it. If you're doing a landing page, you want to test it, make sure all your links are working. Same thing applies for your email address, your emails. You want to make sure everything is set up properly, everything looks right, and it's doing what you're asking it to do.
Yes. And your links work, you don't want any dead links, anything like that. One thing, if you're just starting out too, if it's a new email address, you've done all the DMARC and the verifications and whatnot, it's still totally okay on your free download thank you page to say, look for an email from, and then put the email address it comes from. And then in your emails, it's always a good practice to, say like, hey, make sure you whitelist or, this email address so that it doesn't go to spam. And that'll help your emails to future people automatically not go to spam. It might go to other, but maybe not spam. But also helps people know where to look for it, right? Because there's nothing more frustrating than trying to get a free download and then you go to your email and you can't find it.
Yep. And most of the time, like, I know that people like to use Google or Yahoo because it's free, but there are some really inexpensive ones out there. Like, if you've got a host, usually that comes with an email address. So if you've got if you've got a domain, a lot of times that will come with something. I use INS, so I don't actually have any hosting with it, but I have a domain and my email, a professional email address for like $1 or $2 a month. So can't really complain about that. I mean, I know it's going to go up, but even once it goes up, it's going to be like $12.99 or something a month. And that works great because I can use that for my email address and I don't have any problems with it. I've tested it thoroughly and it works great. So
nice.
Yeah.
I use Zoho for my professional email, but if you have multiple things, like, you can do vanity emails as well that you can set up to forward directly to your main business email.
Yeah.
So there are different ways to do it without spending an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again,
I mean,
it comes down to making sure that they know what email to look for.
yep. And by having those, it just helps, you not get shunted when you're trying to send it out as well.
Yeah. And then have realistic expectations. Like we all want that 90% open rate on our email list, but realistically, you're probably not going to get it. If you're at 50, you're doing phenomenally. So just bear that in mind. Like obviously a 0.05% open rate is not great. But if you're getting the emails the right way and you're getting people that are actually interested versus, potential bots from solo ad providers or anything like that, then your open rate's probably going to be in the 5 to 15%, which is still pretty good because you're going to get people who put in their email address for the free download with probably an address they don't check very often. And so, or people will still give inaccurate emails for whatever reason. Usually just to see what the next step is, what the next page is on your funnel, because they've been, they understand the game. So there's always things like that. And then always you'll get an update about spam or bounced ones as well. Like delete those bounced emails. Just get them out of there because they're just going to hurt you in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, if they're coming back, why would you keep them on there? They're just, they're taking up space, and you don't need that. And you think about it in the overall term, right? If you say your open rate is 8% or 10%, let's go with a nice round number, 10%. Okay, so you send out 100, 10 people are opening that, and if your emails are well crafted and you've got your links and stuff, they're going to click through. And of those 10, maybe 2 or 3 of those do. But if you have like 2% buy rate of your stuff out of 100, that's still not bad, especially if you start building up your email list and now you've got 1,000 or 10,000. And suddenly that small percentage makes a massive difference to your bottom line. And that is why people like email marketing.
Yep. Well, and it's evergreen, right? So you start setting it up now. Let's say you have 3 years worth of emails, done. Yeah, maybe you're struggling to keep ahead of the first few people that signed up. But if you're getting 10 or 15 new signups every day, that's 3 years worth of follow-up that is already done. So it's getting paid for past work, essentially, which is always great in marketing.
Yes, always good. That automation, once it's in place, yes, it's a struggle to get it going in the first place. You really do have to focus and just dedicate some time, or you can hire somebody if you want to set it up for you, because not all of us are skilled at that, but you can always hire somebody up to do that for you. But once it's in place, then it's, that's once the wheel is turning, you don't have to pedal anymore. You can just let it do its thing. So,
yep.
All right. Well, I think that's it for today, my dear.
Yeah. Pretty simple. Simple, not easy, but simple.
Yeah, I mean, it's a process, like anything else, right? I mean, it's all a process. When you first get into email marketing, it's going to feel overwhelming. Just like any kind of marketing though, right? Because you're learning a whole new process. You're learning a whole new thing. So, don't let it overwhelm you. There are definitely people out there and places that can offer some extra support. If you want any kind of extra help, you know where we are. You can always reach out to us. And if we don't have the answers for you, of course, we will find them for you, because that is what we do.
Yes.
All right. So I think that's it for today. How about next week we talk about diversifying your income streams?
Love it.
Yeah, I think that's a great one, because I think we all tend to get a little bit trapped into what we're doing. And the best way to make sure that you have a long-term business is to diversify those income streams and make sure that you have it coming in from more than one place.
Yes. And that's the great thing about online, is you can do that a lot easier than working 3 jobs and, having no time or energy for anything else.
Yep, and especially once you've got those automations and emails going, and then suddenly it's way easier.
Yes, you got lots of time
So
for yourself.
I am back on here in an hour. Well, yeah,
Yes.
so through StreamRide. I did drop the link to sign up in the comments if anyone still wants to pop in. It's not too late, even if it says it is too late on the thing. Don't worry about it. I will accept last minute attendees. Any rate, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Happy Friday to you. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. And I think that's
Happy
it for
Father's
me.
Day to all the fathers out there.
Oh wait, yeah, I guess it's gonna be Father's Day too. It's always Father's Day. I should know this. It's Father's Day and my birthday are like practically attached. So all right, everyone, have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye.